We have a few speakers with us, but as usual, we will start with a short overview of the SME Working Group status and the activities. Then we will have Basileos from Infolysis, and he will be speaking on behalf of 6G Sandbox. As you know, they are organizing a webinar like going through the project achievements and so on. So we will be lucky enough to get a preview of what's going to happen there. Then we will speak about envelope open call. This point has been in our agenda for quite some time now. So the call is finally open, and we have with us Konstantinos Katsaros from Envelope to guide us through it. If I'm not wrong, the feasibility check closes tomorrow, but you had the information beforehand. So I hope that some of you found it interesting and aligning with your objectives so that you already took this first step. And last but not least, we have Alexandros Kaloxilos from 6GIA, and he will be speaking about the SNS Work Programme 2026 orientations. So to give us some insights of what's going to happen there. And you will be, of course, able to ask all your questions to Alex and to all the speakers. And then we will just have a moment to close our meeting, speaking about or going through the latest publications, events, and so on and so forth. So I guess people are still joining. I can no longer see you in this screen mode, but I will just start to show you the membership status. It hasn't changed, but as you've most likely seen, Dorina was so kind to launch a campaign in our social media to try to attract some new members. We have a lot of followers in LinkedIn. Not all of them are SMEs, and definitely not all of them are SMEs who are in the working group. So this was one thing to try to kind of entice the interest for people who follow us to actually officially join. And then in parallel, we also launched a mailing campaign to all those like contacting those SMEs that are already involved in the SNS ecosystem, but that they are not part of the working group. And as we always say, if of course you have some peers that might be interested, do not hesitate to let them know about the working group, because it's always nice to bring new members in and get their fresher perspectives. Of course, the brochure, the work on the brochure is still going on. We are approaching the deadline for the first draft, which would be this Friday, but most likely you will receive it next week. We are almost done with the first design and the proofreading. There are a few success stories and profiles that need to be double checked by the authors. But we are almost there. So probably, or definitely before Christmas, we will have the first complete and consolidated draft. So afterwards, it's only a matter to keep working on the little details and so on. So I think this year we are quite well, and we won't need to hurry up for the publication in February. This slide, you've already seen it, which is speaking about the benefits of partaking in the brochure. So I won't go through it, but I will leave it in the slide set because it's always nice to remind ourselves why we are doing it. Then this is the most important topic right now, which is the questionnaire and the position paper. So our task force is moving forward with the position paper. But as I said, the inputs from the questionnaire are very, very relevant because they actually offer the whole or the insights from the members of the working groups so that all voices are actually reflected in the position paper and not just maybe a few. So again, I would kindly ask you to fill in the questionnaire. It's really important. It has several sections, so as you can, but at the end is, I would say it's not very long, definitely not longer than, let's say, 20-30 minutes. So the first section, it talks about your SNS JU participation in this year. So if you actually apply for the call and a few more details in that regard. As we do every year, we have this assessment of the SMEs in the SNS JU, in which we evaluate different elements of the program with respect of the SMEs. And this is also very important because the SNS JU office takes this feedback very seriously in order to always improve from year to year. The third block of questions, of course, it tackles the working group and how it functions right now. So we have assessment of the meetings, but also I want to know what you want to talk about in the upcoming months. What can we do to improve this? If there are things that you actually like and that we should keep doing, and so on. And finally, we have all the questions related to the SME working group position paper. As I said, the input from these questions is going to be shared with the task force, but I will share it after it's anonymized. So feel free to answer as sincerely as you wish, because it's only me who knows who is answering what. But it's participating in the questionnaire. It's critical to be able to achieve good quality position paper that, as I said before, that actually echoes what the working group thinks, and not just a few voices who are always the most active participants, of course. So that said, these were all my news for today, or all my points. So I will pass the floor to Basileos to talk to us about 6G Sandbox.
Hello, Jessica. This is Marina from Infolysis. I'm going to do the presentation and not Vasilis. We didn't have the time to correct, so I hope it's not a problem.
Not at all.
Okay.
Welcome, Marina.
Thank you. Thank you. Just give me a second to share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
We can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
So good morning to all, and thank you for giving me the floor. My name is Marina Koulaloglu. I'm from Infolysis, and I'm the communication leader of 6G Sandbox. And as part of our upcoming webinar, I would like to take this opportunity to give you a brief overview of the project and invite you to join our webinar in order to learn more how it supports experimentation in the European 6G ecosystem. So 60 Sandbox, small brief, is formed by a consortium of 18 partners with Keysight Technologies to be the project coordinator and University of Malaga to act as the technical manager. The project, of course, is funded under the SNS JU initiative within the Horizon Europe. The project, in a nutshell, 60 Sandbox is a European experimentation facility that combines digital and physical nodes into a single framework for 60 testing and validation. It is deployed across Europe in 4 main platforms, which are located in Malaga, Athens, Berlin, and Oulu. The project supports technology and research validation, allowing researchers and organizations to test new 60 technologies and advances, and also provides experimentation through an extensible toolkit. One core concept which is introduced in the project is a trial network, which represents a complete end-to-end network environment. Now, one of the key achievements of the 60 Sandbox is the experimentation toolkit, which we are proud to say that it was selected by the SNS JU as one of the top 10 SNS JU achievements. You may find the link here, but also the news are in our website. So the toolkit is an open modular software platform that allows anyone from startups to researchers to test new 60 ideas remotely without any complex setup or costly equipment. Then 60 Sandbox engagement opportunities throughout the years. 60 Sandbox already ran successfully 3 open calls, which now, of course, this action has ended. But still, it invites experimenters and SNS JU projects to run their experiments in our platforms, and also invites external parties to bring their technology to be deployed and tested in our platforms. What is new? We have already communicated and communicated press releases that 60 Sandbox will organize the first semester of 2026 a set of large-scale 60 trials. The main technical areas will include non-terrestrial networks, RIS, FR3 trials, and deterministic networking trials. These trials are open to all participants, and you may contact us directly if you would like to be part of it. And then our webinar. So in order to understand our project better and sorry, no, I was okay. I thought someone talked. Okay, so our webinar will take place in December on the 10th and 11th. It's a 2 days webinar, and there you will learn more about our project and you understand better its impact in the 60 ecosystem. So the first day we will focus on trial network concept and also in the 4 platforms and their infrastructures, and they will close with the digital twins functionality. And the second day of the webinar will focus on the results from experimentations. The 4 platforms of the project have supported more than 50 experiments, and as you understand, the project's ambition is to support any kind of experimentation in the SNS community and beyond SNS, from physical layers to applications and from small experiments to large trials. And finally, among others, of course, support the small companies. So in case you want to register, you may scan here the QR code directly, or to visit us on our website and find the news and the event there and to join us. We will be more than happy. And if you would like, you can join us on our social media platforms. We have LinkedIn, we have X, we have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, with many interesting videos, also from open callers. So I will stop sharing my screen. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Marina. It's very interesting. I also know that some of our working
Oh,
group members participated in some of the 6G Sandbox open calls. So now I think it's a good moment to ask any question to Marina, both regarding the project, the webinar, or the next year's trials.
Somebody asked in the chat, Marina, if you can please copy the link to the webinar, to the event.
yes, sure. Yes, sure, I do. I just realized that I had also off my camera. I'm sorry for this. Yes, of course, I will do. Give me a second. Okay, here in the chat. Okay, so this is the link to register in our webinar. All our technical team will be there to answer all your questions. It will be really interesting. Hopefully, you will manage to do it for the 2 days. So, if there is no other question,
Certainly. Thanks,
okay.
thanks a lot. For sure I will try to attend. So I don't know if I will be able to do it both days, but one for sure. And maybe afterwards next year you can tell us how it went and how the trials are going as well. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Marina. So we might welcome now our second speaker this morning, Konstantinos Katsaros from Envelope.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you.
Okay, great. Thanks for the invitation. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, let me go to presentation mode. Switch. Okay. Can you see my main screen, the slide? Okay.
Yes.
Great. So thank you very much. I'm Dinos Katsaros, Dinos for short. Konstantinos is my full name, first name. I'm the Deputy Project Coordinator of Envelope. I'm here with my colleagues Paulos Basaras, also from ICCS, and Dimitris Zouzias from EPOS, who are also involved in the project and can possibly provide some answers for detailed questions. I will give you an overview of the project and the details of the second open call of our project. So let me start by providing some basic information regarding Envelope. Envelope is a Stream D, a large-scale trials and pilots project. It was from call to in 2023, and it was one of the use case priorities, if people recall, that was focused on connected and automated mobility. So the automotive sector is the core of focal point of our activities. We are 23 partners. As I will show you later, we have 3 living labs, trial sites in Italy, the Netherlands, and Greece. And you can see the figures about the budget and the duration. Actually, we are completing our second year by the end of December. I don't know why the slide doesn't switch. Okay, it takes some time. Okay. So regarding the scope of Envelope, we are involved in several technological advances, but the main concept underpinning our activities is that of establishing the necessary interfaces between the vertical services focused on the automotive and the network, so that we manage to achieve the following interactions. First, we want to expose network capabilities to verticals, to the service layer, provide in the opposite direction vertical information to the network, and through this exchange of information also support the verticals in dynamically requesting and modifying certain network aspects. Building on these capabilities, we support extensive trials to actually validate the network exposure benefits and demonstrate how these interfaces, these interactions between the network and the service can help the uptake of novel services. So this leads us to the following mode of operation. On the right-hand side, we have an experimentation as a service front end based on which vertical service providers can deploy their services on top of the 5G, beyond 5G/6G, you name it, infrastructure, which involves the far edge, meaning the vehicles, the user equipment, the edge computing locations in the network, and of course the beyond 5G core system, which exposes some native APIs. On top of that, through CAPIF, we allow the interaction with the core elements of the infrastructure, between the core elements of the infrastructure and the technology enablers, which are a series of features that are tailored to enhance this interaction between the network and the services. This is performed through standards compliant APIs. And to give you some example before I get into the details of these APIs, we have, for example, the support for quality on demand, which is recently very popular API in SNS activities. We have also predictive QoS and so on and so forth. So the main idea is that a vertical service provider can use a dashboard to deploy their application, and their application can then communicate with through these supported APIs, Camara compatible and HMEC compatible, with the network and support and enhance functionality. Now, what this enhanced functionality is about? Don't be scared, I won't read the entire table. This is to focus on the first column that we show the APIs with the corresponding technical enablers supporting this functionality. We have quality on demand, where we can dynamically request for network resources and guaranteed performance. I will give you concrete examples later on. We have several flavors of device location APIs, where we can get the number or the identity of users entering a certain area, or we can have notifications about the departure of a device from an area, and so on and so forth. We have two sets of APIs focused on predictive quality of service. These are connectivity insights and predictive connectivity data. These are two ways where the network can provide predictions about possible deterioration of the network service provided to the vertical. We have several flavors of the edge cloud APIs, as all these are supported and specified by Camara. For example, we have a service host or host discovery, service migration, and traffic influence. And we have two non-Camara related APIs. One is about ATSS multi-connectivity, where we can provide support to user equipment and a terminal to communicate also through Wi-Fi or in the future through a non-terrestrial network, along with the connectivity through the 5G. And we also support the provisioning of periodic network performance metrics in the form of the performance metric API. This is not related, at least for now, with some standardized API. So all these APIs come with certain functionality, provide certain benefits, and can be used in several automotive, but also beyond automotive use cases. So we have these APIs, we have this functionality, and we support different subsets of these APIs and enablers in the Dutch trial side, the Italian, and the Greek one. The Greek one has the differentiation point of supporting two PLMNs, where we can have inter-PLMN mobility. But I won't stay too much into the details of the trial sites, because this is information very well documented and online, and I will give pointers to anyone interested. What I want to go to is two examples to explain what we are talking about when we refer to APIs. So, for example, we have a use case where we have a vehicle data collection for improving a digital twin. The road operator collects fresh data about the status of a road segment. And then we use the device location API to generate notifications about vehicles entering or exiting this road segment. We subsequently request for guaranteed bit rate for collecting the information from these devices, these vehicles, and we can perform the deallocation of the resources. What we gain, we use resources from the network when we need them, and nothing more than that. And it offers to the efficient operation of the network and potential monetary cost savings. The second example is similar. A vehicle detects and reports an accident. We use the device location API again to locate vehicles in the area, and based on that, we use the Edge Cloud API to identify the closest server to support the collection of data, and we deallocate. Now let's go to the most interesting part, I believe, from this presentation, the overview of the open call. So the main objective is to validate the network exposure and programmability as an accelerator for the development and deployment of 5G CAM services and beyond. I mean, it's not only, it focuses on the automotive, but goes beyond that. On the technical front, this is equivalent to either, for the open calls, of course, either make use of at least one API and the corresponding technology enabler as developed by Envelope, or design a new API, standards compliant API, to extend the Envelope platform, the functionality supported. In both cases, we want the existing API or the new API to be validated through a novel vertical service. This can be beyond automotive again, but the focus and the main interest of the project is on the CAM sector. Now, regarding funding, in Open Call 2, we have 1,350,000 euros. We have the cap, the limitation of 60K per beneficiary, and a maximum of 300,000 euros per project, which means that we have at most 5 beneficiaries per project. And the beneficiaries can be SMEs, large industrial partners, research institutes, and universities. Combined, the large industry partners and the SMEs should be more than 50% of the consortium in number of participants, not in terms of budget. Regarding the timeline, the feasibility check ends tomorrow. We are considering the potential extension of the feasibility check, but this is not announced. This is not verified yet. So as we stand, tomorrow is the deadline for the feasibility check. And the role of the feasibility check is mainly to verify that what the applicants have in their minds is doable, is feasible on the technical front. So we may have technical feasibility checks to pass, or to pass on a conditional mode, which means that if something not non-basic is not that feasible, but it doesn't affect the basis of the rationale of the open call proposal, then we can conditionally pass it to the next stage of submission of proposals. And of course, some of the technical aspects may be not adaptable, and the feasibility check has a negative result. Then we have the submission of proposals, which means that the feasibility check must be a pass or a conditional pass, not a rejection. So we filter out applications that are impossible to support. Then we have the evaluation that ends on the 20th of March. The evaluation is performed by external evaluators, and we have a consensus meeting to normalize and rank the proposals, and not to consume too much time of this call. The projects are expected to start on the 1st of May, actually the 2nd of May, because May 1st is a bank holiday, and at the end of October. And this is a hard deadline because we want to have the results in time and be able to disseminate and show to the public, also possibly with a final event, the achievements of the open callers. Now, for further information, we have a webinar recording that provides detailed presentation of trial sites and details about the processes. This is available through the link you can see on the bottom side of the slide. I can share these slides if you want to disseminate them in the working group mailing list. So this is something that's going to be available. In any case, if someone searches for envelope project on YouTube, they can find the video recording. Some further indications through the envelope website. If someone goes to resources, they can see open call to knowledge base. There we have detailed information about the API specification, the capabilities of the trial sites, technical information that can help someone understand how they can design a proposal. If someone selects open call to documentation, it can see the sub-grant agreement, more procedural type of documents, non-technical. And finally, if someone goes to the open calls and selects open call 2, which is open now, they can find the links to submit their feasibility check requests for the selected trial site. So I don't know if I spent too much time of this call, but I would like to thank you for the invitation, first of all, and I will be happy to answer to any questions or take it offline, whatever you prefer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dinos. You were perfectly on time. We also had some spare time left. So now I might give the floor to anybody who would like to ask you some question. Seems you were very clear. So I might, I think you've already received an expression of interest from one of our members, which I hope they are able to participate. I might also ask you if you are planning to have a third open call or this will be the last one.
No, this is the last one.
Okay. So I hope that some of our members seize this opportunity, and thank you very much for joining us today and give us this information firsthand.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Very kind of you. Thank you.
And now I will give the floor to Alex Kaloxilos from 6GIA.
Thank you, Jessica, and many thanks for the invitation. I hope that you can see my slides, that you can hear me.
Yes, we can see them, and we can hear you and see you.
Okay, many thanks again for the invitation. To the participants of the meeting, Jessica has invited me to provide some information about the latest status of the orientations provided by the Civil Industry Association for the SNS Work Programme for 2026. Before going there, let me say a couple of things. For the Civil Industry Association, the active participation of the SMEs is quite important. And two things that I would like to share with you is that, as you see in the graph, we have a significant increase in the members of the Civil Industry Association. What is really nice is that 30% of our members are SMEs. So for those of you that are already members of the Civil Industry Association, many thanks for the vote of confidence and for your active participation. What we are trying to do here, what you see in this slide is the programmatic key performance indicator of the SNS JU. The first thing that you see here is the participation of the SMEs. The target for this was to reach something like 20%. So 33% is well above the target. And this is, if I remember correctly, the number of the SMEs that are participating in the consortia, which is a very good number, in my opinion. And roughly 25%, a quarter of the budget in the projects goes to SMEs. So, so far, I think that we are doing well on the rules and the target of the calls for the SNS JU. So that the SMEs have a real chance to participate and engage actively in SNS JU activities. Now, for those of you that are not fully aware of the process, and maybe I should have started from that, my team. For those of you that you do not know me, my name is Alex Kaloxilos. I'm the Executive Director of the Civil Industry Association. And the Civil Industry Association is the private side in the SNS JU. The public side is DG Connect, of course, the EC. What we are doing, let's say the responsibility to provide the official work program, of course, goes with the SNS JU office. But this is established in collaboration between the Civil Industry Association and DG Connect EU1. So what we are doing, we are providing, from our side, we are providing orientations and suggestions. And we are working closely with the public side. Usually our orientations are quite close on the final calls. But of course, the orientations that we are providing, it's not the task of a small group of people working and suggesting ideas. There is a core team where there are some activities to propose ideas, but after that we have consultations with our members. So we check in reality what are the views from the members of the association. What you see here for the orientations of the work program 2026, we had an open consultation where we received 40 replies. So the 10% roughly of all Six Industry Association members. And you see here that roughly 12-13% were from the SMEs. Now, for those of you that are members of the Six Industry Association, I would strongly encourage you to participate in the consultation because you have a clear possibility to present your views and potentially influence even the orientations of the work program. We always read all the comments that we receive. We reply to all the comments that we receive. And we have a dedicated workshop to discuss the feedback from the community. Okay, these were the introductory parts. Maybe this part is more interesting to you all. The next work program, I can tell you that it's going to be a so-called biannual work program. Of course, there is not going to be information about work program 2027. This is essentially the need to handle some bureaucratic issues from the SNS JU office. What I mean is the following. As you may know, every year we have 130 million euros of funding in calls. This, for the next work program, and I will explain why, you see that there is a smaller amount of money to be allocated. The rest of the budget is not going to be lost, but we are going to have a really big call like the first one in the work program 2027. Now, let me explain why the call of next year is going to be small. The reason is that, as you may know, the EC has introduced some restrictions in participations. And when I say restriction, it depends on different regions, and everything comes from the geopolitical situation that is happening these days. And because they introduced the restrictions, there was some delay. And again, it was not possible for the SNS office to follow the typical plan of every year, having the call opening in January and closing the call in April. This was no longer was possible. So there was a discussion to have a specific number of topics, limited and specific number of topics. That's why you see here that the next call, using proposal and orientations, but you can consider this as to be very close to the final situation. At least that's my personal expectation. So we are talking about 5 topics in the work program 2026. Nobody likes that this call is small, but okay, it is what it is. At least we're going to have a new opportunity in 27. Mainly, it's going to be about 3 CSA projects. And I will give you more details later on. One is international collaboration with India. One is about devices, excluding smartphones. And one is the follow-up of the existing CSA project, because there is a clear need for supporting a CSA project to support all the activities that we have with the collaboration agreement, meaning the steering board, the technology board activities, the SNS JU projects, working groups, etc. So 3 CSA projects, and then we have 2 large projects. One of them, and I think this is quite relevant on what you are doing on experimental infrastructures, and one of them on AI network datasets. So going down into more details. Again, you have to consider this as orientations because it's not my job to provide official information. But as I was saying before, at least I'm quite confident that this is going to be quite close to the final things that you are going to see, hopefully, in either late December just before the Christmas break, or right after the Christmas break, early January. So 3 CSA projects. The first one, 3 million euros, 9% funding rate, duration 2 years. Of course, in the CSA projects, we don't have any TRL level. The first one is about the SNS JU support of the program, the project collaboration, the community engagement, the dissemination and standardization activities, and of course, the support of the EU CSA conference. The second CSA is about 6G devices. The idea here is to define a roadmap towards 6G ready devices, mainly targeting the verticals. Now, in Europe, we have still a good market on end devices, not smartphones, but other end devices and modems that can be used for vertical industries. And it would be great to have a CSA project to create a roadmap to see what is needed, hopefully, and it's going to be hopefully addressed in the next framework, in FP10. So the idea is to have a CSA project which is going to last up for 2 years. Let me say that all these projects that we see here, as usual, as they are in the work program, they will be or are expected to be the work program 2026. The call will open in January. Most likely it's going to close end of April or mid or end of April. And then the projects will start, as usual, beginning of 27. Okay, so we have discussed I have presented the 2 CSA projects. The third one is a CSA project for a collaboration with India. This is one of the targets that we have to have global standards. We already have collaboration activities with the United States, Japan, and Korea. It is high time to establish further collaborations for connectivity and services with one of quite important regions, which is India. Now, in Stream B projects, there's going to be a single project, 8 million euros, as an innovation action because the expected TRL is quite high, up to 7. And this is about the following. As you all know, when we're AI is the hot topic. Okay, perfect. But in AI, there is one potential issue. If you don't have good data to train your models, what you get is either questionable or not optimum, or not easy to replicate or widely used as benchmark. This project comes to address exactly this point, is to create high quality synthetic data sets. This could be included from various sources, either from real experimental platforms, but these platforms should be quite extensive to provide high quality data. If you have an experimental platform with one base station and one terminal, creating data and then trying to train models using this data, especially if it's going to be, indoor, a couple of meters and these kind of things, this is not useful for an AI training system. But if you have more extended test beds, that would be really great. So we are talking about real data from the operators or experimental platforms that can be considered that are close to a real deployment. Generator of synthetic generator of data, digital twin, and also the consideration of having an open source tool, a simulator to create data sets. And I'm saying simulator because the idea behind that is that in the simulator you can have correlated data from various network components and network protocols, which is quite useful. And of course, this tool should be open source. Part of the activity for such a project would be to evaluate also the models that we have these days in the SNS JU. For those of you that are not aware, the SNS JU is already collecting data sets in a repository and models. But we need also to evaluate which of these data sets are useful so we can create a global pool. I can tell you that this is a very important project. The challenge is not only in Europe. for collaborative purposes, the same challenges are faced by other regions, like, for example, the United States or Japan or Korea. So this could be a really important outcome from the SNS JU. Again, just to remind that this is going to be an innovation action, and we expect that the TRL level at the end of the project should be quite high, because future projects, or either in the SNS JU or hopefully in a follow-up of the SNS JU, should be able to further create additional data sets and create further evolve these tools. What I can offer is my personal opinion on this. In order to ensure that these data are going to be quite realistic and quite close to real deployments, we all know that it's not going to be easy to receive real data from real networks for obvious reasons like privacy, etc. It's quite important to have a strong participation from big players, either vendors or operators or verticals. But this does not exclude the participation of SMEs or academics. But they will have to bring in specific added value in such a consortium. Again, this is just my personal opinion on what a good consortium could be. Now, the last project is a Stream C project. It's about experimental infrastructures. Now, as you know, we have from the various calls of the SNS JU some experimental infrastructures. Some of these projects are ending up. And in order to avoid losing the good outcomes that we already have, there's going to be one proposal, one project of 8 million euros, trying to create an infrastructure. So it's not a de facto follow-up of the previous project, but collecting the consortium, the components will collect the components that are quite useful and important for 6G, and not very wide. So, if we have 20 different features, it's impossible with 8 million euros to have, the merging of existing platforms with all the features, etc. So the proponents could select up to 3 features, like, for example, and this is again just an example, joint communication and sensing, NTN, and deterministic networking, for example, or optical communications. You can imagine 3 main topics that are, or AI, that's another hot topic. And they will create a testbed. Now, this testbed is going to be used for 2 purposes. The one purpose is getting developers of not past Stream C projects, but Stream B projects from the SNS JU or from national initiatives where people have developed specific components. So if your SME has developed something specific, for example, on joint communication and sensing, and they want to further integrate it in such a platform, you will have the possibility, and also the possibility of FSTP. 1.6 million euros are going to be allocated in cascade funding. The upper limit we have proposed to be 50K per company. So this would be a good chance to develop this pan-European 6G platform where we can demonstrate good solutions on key 6G features. Now, what would be the goal of that? The project will allow for experimenters to come and test these facilities. So for you as SMEs, if you want to test with specific solutions, you can reach out. There's not going to be funding for that, but you will have the possibility to reach out and do your experiments in such an experimental platform. So to summarize, this project is about, I know it's a little bit complicated, but it's quite interesting and important. Take part of the platforms that we have already from past calls, not necessarily from one project, from various projects. Combine them into a platform, have an amount of money for companies and academics that did not have the opportunity to participate in this platform, but they have already developed some components to plug them in and integrate them. They will have budget on this based on cascade funding. And then we are going to have the experimenters where they will be able to experiment with the new technology. So for the SMEs, I see two opportunities for you, either as a developer to integrate your solutions or as an experimenter to test these solutions. So I stop here so that we have some time if you have any questions for me to answer. I've seen that there are a couple of them. Or
Indeed, you
okay.
have a couple of questions in the chat, Alex.
Yes, I see from Arthur, and I assume that you only mentioned topics related to 6G and telecom. Other topics have already been published in other programs. Yes, I mean, what I'm referring to is the topics that are in the context of the SNS JU. So we have the SRIA of the SNS JU, the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda. And indeed, here we focus mainly on smart networks and services, which is the main topic of the SNS JU. About the evaluation results. Okay, again, I'm not the person to give official answers, but I can give you some hints. I mean, I would expect, and again, it's not official, but I would expect that the results of the previous call of 2025 should be ready by the end of this year, beginning of January. So those of you that will be successful, either you will have an early Christmas present or a good present for the beginning of 2026. But that's the timeline for that. Will the requirement of participation of SMEs will be the same? Yes, indeed. We have kept this requirement. As I was saying in the beginning, this is one of the main targets of the programmatic KPIs, and we have done quite well so far. So this clear hint, it is working. So that's a good thing, I think. Any further questions that you may have? Of course, at any point, if you have my email, just send me an email at any point in time. No matter if you are members of the SIG Industry Association or not, I will be happy to provide you with information. And if you don't have it, Jessica can always pass this to you.
Indeed, with your permission, I can.
Yes, no problem.
Alex, do you have any idea about Stream C? It's going to be cascade funding. So do you know how many open calls there would be there? Or
the number of open calls, no, this is not, okay. You see the correct screen, I hope. Now,
yes.
what the call will describe is the overall budget, the percentage of the budget, which is going to be 20% of 8 million euros, so 1.6 million euros is going to be on cascade funding, and the upper amount of money that one organization can receive. So, for example, an SME could receive, if they apply for cascade funding, for up to 50K. So it's essentially budget to be able to integrate your solution with the existing platforms. The number of the open calls, it's up to the proponents. So it's not for the call to specify this.
Okay, great.
And this could be, I mean, the duration of this project could be quite significant. I mean, it could, depending on the proponents, what they want to see. You see here, we don't have 2 years or up to 2 years. It's fully open. It could be even until 2030. And the main idea was that for such a project is that in other regions they have some announcements that we have achieved in China or Japan or Korea or the States, this and that, based on this platform. It's a good opportunity for us to do the same. We have the solutions. We can do even better with the integration of new components. And it's going to be good dissemination results for us. And of course, also train our experts in Europe on 6G technologies.
Indeed. Are there more questions for Alex? I think that was I think that was it. But you know where to find him. Many of you are already in the 6GIA, so you see Alex quite often. So thank you very much for joining us today. We finally made it after a few frustrated attempts. And it was very useful. I think this call is going to be sort of an inflection point where we look at what we've been done and what it's needed, and then we will have the final one with quite a huge budget. But I think, as Alex was mentioned, there is you don't need to be discouraged. There is still opportunities for SMEs, and very good ones. So keep an eye and see where you might fit better. And I think, as Alex was mentioning, now from the end of December to the beginning of January, we will start to receive all the information for the next year. So
Many thanks for the invitation, Jessica.
So now I will just share, as promised, the latest news. Can you tell me if you see the slides, presentation mode? Okay, great. So we had, the BFCS was celebrated at the end of November in Lisbon. I heard very nice things from this year, but I was wondering if somebody was present and would like to share their impressions and a little overview of what was discussed and what happened. I have a speaker in mind, but I don't want to point
Hi,
anybody.
Jessica, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Anna.
Hi, yeah. From our side, I attended with a colleague. It was quite nice. It was the first we attended, the two of us, despite the fact that we were as attended previous ones. It was very insightful, and we were able to do a lot of networking with the different participants. So it was quite nice in that sense. I think that's it from our side. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Somebody else would like to add something? Okay. So we've already seen this today because Constantino showed us
Sorry, just to
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Mir.
Yeah, this is Mir. Apologies. I just missed the topic for a second. Was this on visions for future communication summit
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Lisbon? Yeah. So we attended and we presented our thoughts on basically software for networks and the requirements of that. As it was said, it was a very insightful meeting, 2 days meeting with some fantastic keynotes. And I think the end outcome would be very interesting. I think Rui is preparing a report on that to be released.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I really heard very nice things about the keynotes and the discussions that took place. So looking forward to read what Rui prepares, and maybe in the next working group meeting we can discuss it as well. Yeah, so as I was saying, the top 10 achievements or key achievements of the SNS JU project was already mentioned today. Here we have a Sandbox, but there is tomorrow an online webinar in which the speakers from all the projects will provide a very high-level overview on the accomplishments that were awarded with this recognition. So I think it might be very interesting for most of you to attend, and I think it will be quite an easygoing webinar. For those of you who might have attended last month, there was the 5G IA and 5G Asia highlights, lessons learned and next steps on Isaac and JCA's webinar. And the recording is now available. So if you missed it, you are still able to have a look at the presentations. So it's not only the recording, but also the slides are available. So you can just use this link that I've placed in the slides. More things we have. December is a pretty busy month, and some of the projects are ending. So we have two final events. One is on the 4th of December, which I believe it's Thursday, and it's online, so you can all attend. And 64 Society also has their final event on the 15th of December. Gigi was here from Cyber Ethic Lab. They are one of the main partners there. So yeah, just if you can, I'm sure you will be able to see him there. We also have on Friday a webinar on architecting trust in IT, technical insights from SNS JU projects. Well, of course, it's a few projects in SNS will be speaking about how they address the security, reliability, and privacy issues in 6G. We also had two very interesting publications in the past months. A white paper that Dorina already put in social media, which is 6G for Media and Entertainment, and a second paper that was published by the 6GIA Security Working Group, and it's about 6G security and trust. Both of them are open, so you also have the links in the slides to take a look. I just kind of summarize a little bit what they address, but let's not go through those things. And I think this is my final event for today. It's next year, so there is time, and it's the annual event organized by ETSI, Software and Standards for Smart Networks and Services. It will take place in Sophia Antipolis in France. And the theme this year is building an open software ecosystem for future connectivity and services. And as usual, there will be a mix of conference, demos, tutorials, and hackathon. I'm not sure if some of you attend, but usually this is a quite popular event, although I know that most of you do not partake in standards activities. And finally, this was it was briefly mentioned in our previous meeting back in October. And the idea will be for the next year to have a SMEs corner. So maybe instead of having pitches, it was suggested that we choose one topic and we organize a small thematic discussion about that topic. So it can be anything from artificial intelligence to security to NTN, whatever you choose. So we take this chance for you to kind of present your SME, and we also hold a discussion in the working group, so everybody gets to participate and we are able to make the meetings a little bit more dynamic. So yeah, I am collecting some potential topics through the questionnaire and potential speakers as well. So just keep this idea in mind, and when you go to the questionnaire, well, you will see the question. I see also Mir, you shared a link to Teams. And Arthur, shared some information about the SDN NFV conference in Athens.
Yep, the link that I shared is for the webinar that you mentioned on Friday.
Okay, great.
Trust for 6 years. So you can register on the link. Yeah.
Perfect. And Arthur, I don't know if you want to share also some links, but otherwise I think
I'm just typing the link. Just I have to type it manually. Because
okay.
I don't remember off my head.
Yeah, no worries. Otherwise, I think with that information, we should be able to find it.
I think this should work. Let me try. I will click on it. Oh, it doesn't go. Maybe it's not, and maybe it's just HTTPS. No, it doesn't go. What? It's not. We forgot it. Give me a second. I'm gonna put.
Yeah, of course, no worries.
I made a mistake in the link.
Yeah, so while we wait, I just kind of keep telling you our next meeting will be in January, not 2025, but 2026. So as usual, I will send you a doodle together with the minutes and the slides, so you will be able to complete all of that. But please, again, I encourage you to fill in the questionnaire as soon as possible. As I said, there is information such as for the SNS JU office. So Alex was showing the percentage of SMEs participating. So basically, we draw that information from different sources, including this questionnaire. They also want to know how you view the SNS JU program as an SME, and so you know how easy it's for you to participate, how it's the funding, and so on. So those are really topics that I bring to the office every year. And then we have the blog on the SME Working Group, and this is just for you, for us to be able to have meetings that are useful for you, and that when you join this hour and a half, that you feel that you actually learned or did something valuable with your time, and not that you were just here and nothing really important happened. So I need to know what you wish to do. And finally, the position paper. As I said, we have a task force with volunteers doing this work. And I think it's our responsibility to help everybody with our, sorry, not everybody, but the task force with our insights, especially because as also Alex was showing with the consultations, it's very important that you make your interests and your thoughts and the roadmaps and your vision as an SME be heard. And this is one way, one very good way of doing it. So don't forget to do it and to do it before Christmas. So now, Arthur, I think you got the right links.
Yes, the links are correct now.
Okay, perfect. So now you can all go to also to visit those links, to register in the link that Mir shared with us for the webinar on Friday. And with this, I think we are done, unless somebody would like to comment something or just to share something. I take it as a no. So we will keep in touch, and thank you very much to all of you for being here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too.